This is Chimoc, the vital timber preparation phase of traditional Korean Hanok construction. Here, skilled craftsmen meticulously cut and shape massive wooden beams. Since authentic Hanok architecture relies on complex, interlocking wooden joints, every single cut and carve made here requires absolute precision. As the view expands over the concrete foundation, the true scale of the operation is revealed. Soon, these crafted timbers will be assembled like a giant puzzle to form the enduring framework of the Hanok. This is Gagu-jjagi, the grand assembly phase where the structural framework of the Hanok finally takes shape. The meticulously crafted wooden beams are brought together on site. Massive timbers are hoisted high into the air by cranes, highlighting the sheer scale and weight of the materials used in this traditional architecture. High above the ground, skilled carpenters carefully guide each heavy beam into its designated slot. Through highly precise interlocking joinery, the pieces connect seamlessly, building a robust and enduring wooden skeleton for the Hanok. We now witness a profound milestone in traditional Hanok construction, Sangnyangsik, the ridge beam raising ceremony. High above the ground, skilled carpenters carefully guide the uppermost and most critical timber into its resting place, officially completing the building's core structural framework. Looking up through the intricate wooden grid, you can see the crowning ridge beam. Placing this ultimate piece is celebrated with a sacred ritual. Sangnyangsik is far more than a construction procedure. It is the awakening of the home's spirit. Traditionally, the exact date of construction and heartfelt blessings for peace and lasting prosperity are inscribed directly onto this timber. Furthermore, to protect the wooden structure from fire, ancient characters symbolizing water, such as dragons and turtles, are written on both ends. With its magnificent wooden skeleton now proudly standing against the serene mountainous backdrop, the Hanok is ready to receive its roof, taking root in perfect harmony with nature. As the main framework stands tall, the Hanok construction enters its most visually captivating phase, the roof. From above, we can truly appreciate the grand scale and the complex geometry required to build these expansive eaves. Notice the meticulous, detailed work happening at the corners of the roof. This highly advanced process is known as Sunjaeon. Sunjaeon refers to the unique wooden rafters that radiate outward, spreading elegantly like a traditional folding fan. Shaping and placing these pieces demands master-level craftsmanship. Because the corner of a Hanok roof sweeps gracefully upward and outward, no two fanned rafters are identical. Every single piece of timber must be meticulously calculated, hand-cut at a distinct angle, and shaped with a subtle curvature to lock perfectly into place. Through this remarkable geometric technique, rigid wood is magically transformed into gentle, flowing lines. As the fan rafters are systematically laid down, they create the iconic, soaring curves of the Hanok eaves, giving the massive structure a sense of weightless grace. With the structural framework firmly in place, the Hanok construction advances to a defining phase known as 석가래 걸기, or the hanging of the rafters. High above the ground, skilled carpenters methodically arrange long, straight wooden beams side by side along the expansive slope of the roof. These rafters act as the essential ribcage of the traditional Korean house. Laying them requires immense focus and coordination. The craftsmen must align each beam with absolute precision, ensuring the spacing is perfectly uniform across the vast structure. This meticulous arrangement is critical, as these rafters will soon bear the immense weight of the thick layers of earth and heavy clay tiles that will form the completed roof. While the roof takes shape above, the preparation on the ground is continuous and exacting. Every single piece of timber is individually measured, cut, and refined by hand. The artisans must carefully adjust each log to ensure a flawless fit before it is hoisted into the air. This process is a testament to the uncompromising dedication required in this ancient craft, demonstrating the seamless harmony between ground preparation and aerial assembly. But the true architectural magic of this process is best experienced from within. Stepping inside and looking up, the precisely aligned wooden beams create a breathtaking rhythmic geometry against the open sky. This structural grid is far more than just a functional necessity. It is a core aesthetic element of traditional Korean design. Known as yeondeung chonjang, or the exposed rafter ceiling, this beautiful wooden canopy is intentionally left uncovered. It stands as a brilliant display of structural honesty, forever bringing the warmth of natural wood and the profound dedication of the craftsman directly into the living space. As the majestic wooden framework of the Hanok stands complete, the construction advances to a vital phase, installing the roof's thermal insulation. This stage beautifully illustrates how contemporary building science can seamlessly enhance time-honored architecture. In traditional construction, builders relied on packing incredibly heavy layers of natural earth and clay over the wooden rafters to shape the roof's sweeping curves and provide a natural defense against the elements. However, this project adopts a highly efficient modern approach. High above the ground, skilled workers methodically cut, fit, and secure high-performance rigid insulation boards across the expansive wooden roof deck. By replacing tons of dense soil with these lightweight panels, the builders drastically reduce the immense structural load pressing down on the wooden pillars below. This brilliant adaptation not only minimizes stress on the timber frame, preventing it from sagging over time, but it also provides vastly superior thermal efficiency. This modern thermal barrier ensures the interior remains remarkably warm during freezing winters and comfortably cool throughout scorching summers, a level of climate control that traditional earth layers could never fully achieve. Following the insulation boards, workers roll out and firmly secure an advanced waterproof and radiant barrier membrane, completely sealing the structure against severe weather, wind, and moisture leaks. This innovative process is a seamless marriage of two eras. It ensures that when the final roofing materials are laid, the Hanok will proudly display the breathtaking, classic silhouette of the past, fully empowered by the exceptional living comfort, durability, and structural resilience of modern engineering. As the primary roof structure is secured, the Hanok construction enters a brilliant phase known as Gagu-jjagi, or the building of a secondary roof. In ancient times, shaping the thick, sweeping curves of a traditional roof required packing massive amounts of heavy earth and clay over the rafters. This project, however, showcases a highly efficient modern adaptation. Instead of using tons of dense soil, carpenters construct a lightweight, elevated wooden framework. From above, you can see workers meticulously assembling this grid and covering it with durable structural panels. This modern technique offers tremendous advantages. It flawlessly replicates the iconic, grand silhouette of the classic roof, without placing a crushing dead weight on the wooden pillars below. Furthermore, the hollow space created between the inner and outer roofs allows for the integration of modern insulation, drastically improving the building's energy efficiency. By replacing traditional earth with this advanced panel system, the process of Gagu-jjagi elegantly marries the breathtaking aesthetics of the past with the structural resilience of contemporary engineering. As the intricate wooden framework of the Hanok stands complete, the construction advances to a vital modern phase, securing and waterproofing the roof. This stage perfectly illustrates how contemporary building science can seamlessly enhance time-honored architecture. In purely traditional construction, builders relied on packing incredibly heavy layers of natural earth and clay over the wooden rafters to shape the curves and seal the structure against rain. However, this project adopts a highly efficient, modern approach. High above the ground, skilled workers methodically unroll and firmly secure advanced high-performance waterproof membranes across the expansive wooden decking of the roof. By replacing tons of dense soil with these lightweight synthetic sheets, the builders drastically reduce the immense structural load pressing down on the wooden pillars below. This adaptation not only minimizes stress on the timber frame, preventing it from sagging over time, but it also creates an impenetrable, long-lasting barrier against severe weather and moisture leaks. This innovative waterproofing process is a seamless marriage of two eras. It ensures that when the final clay tiles are laid, the Hanok will proudly display the breathtaking, classic silhouette of the past, fully safeguarded by the exceptional durability and resilience of modern engineering. This is Giwa, one of the most vital stages in building a Hanok. High on the roof, each Giwa is set by hand, aligned with care and balance. The curved tiles overlap in rows, guiding rainwater down to the Chimoc and shielding the wood beneath. A crane lifts the materials, but the real work is done tile by tile. Along the yongmaru and roof edges, craftsmen judge the spacing, weight, and rhythm. As the dark roof takes shape, the Hanok gains its deep shadows, graceful roofline, and timeless Korean character. Here, a craftsman applies Otchil to the exposed wooden parts of a Hanok roof. Otchil is a traditional Korean lacquer made from the natural sap of the lacquer tree. When it cures, it forms a hard protective layer that helps resist moisture, wear, and surface damage. This is not a standard step in the traditional Hanok construction process. It is a specialized finishing method developed by this company to protect the wood after the main roof work is complete. Beneath the dark Giwa and the deep curve of the Chimoc, the wooden surface is carefully coated by hand. As the Otchil is applied, the natural grain becomes richer, and the surface takes on a warm, durable finish. More than decoration, this layer is designed to help protect the wood from moisture, weathering, dust, and long-term surface damage. In a Hanok, the roof protects the house from above, but exposed wood still faces years of sunlight, wind, rain, and seasonal humidity. By adding Otchil to these vulnerable areas, the structure becomes easier to maintain over time. It can reduce the need for frequent repainting or repair, while helping the wood preserve its strength and beauty for longer. This process shows a new approach to Hanok construction, respecting the traditional form, while improving long-term maintenance and durability with a modern protective technique. The result is not just a finished roof, but a hanok prepared for a longer life. This is tanggulmagi, a careful finishing process beneath the roof of a hanok. After the Giwa roof is formed above, the spaces under the chama still need to be closed and shaped from below. Here, the craftsman works by hand between the sokkare, pressing and smoothing a clay-like filling material into the narrow gaps. These spaces may look small, but they are important. If left open, wind, dust, moisture, insects, and outside air can easily pass into the roof structure. Tanggulmagi helps seal the underside of the roof while creating a clean and stable finish around the sokkare and dori. It also supports better insulation and long-term protection for the wooden frame. In traditional hanok construction, beauty is not only found in what is visible from the outside, it is also built into hidden details like this. Every gap is checked, every surface is shaped, and every line beneath the chama is completed with patience. This process shows the quiet precision of hanok craftsmanship. The roof is not simply covered with Giwa. It is sealed, protected, and finished from the inside out, so the house can stand stronger through wind, rain, and changing seasons. This is imbanserchi, the process of preparing and setting the horizontal wooden members that connect the wooden columns of a hanok. In a traditional hanok, inbang forms the frame for walls, doors, and windows. Depending on its position, it can be called habang, jungbang, or sangbang. Together, these members help organize the wall structure and create the base for later Changho and wall finishing. Here, the craftsman first measures the timber, marks the cutting lines, and carefully shapes each piece by hand. The ends are prepared so the inbang can fit precisely into the wooden columns. This accuracy is important because even a small error can affect the alignment of the wall and the final shape of the interior space. After the wood is cut and adjusted, the long inbang is lifted into place between the wooden columns. The workers check the height, level, and fit before securing it. Instead of forcing the timber into position, they guide it carefully so the column line remains straight and stable. This process may look simple, but it is one of the quiet foundations of hanok construction. The roof may define the silhouette of a hanok, but inbang gives order to the walls, openings, and living space below. Through measured hands and precise fitting, the wooden frame becomes ready for the next stage. This is the internal insulation stage of a modern hanok construction process. Unlike the traditional wall method, this step uses modern insulation materials to improve one of the long-known weaknesses of hanok: heat loss through the walls and roofside spaces. Inside the wooden frame, workers measure, cut, and fit insulation panels into each open section. Every piece must match the space carefully. If there are gaps, heat can escape in winter, and outside heat can enter more easily in summer. Around the chama and beneath the Giwa roof, the structure of a hanok is beautiful, but it also creates many joints and exposed areas. This is why precise internal insulation is important. It helps protect the indoor space from seasonal temperature changes, while keeping the traditional wooden appearance visible. This process is not about replacing the identity of a hanok. It is about solving a practical problem with modern building technology. By adding insulation inside the wall structure, the house becomes warmer, more energy efficient, and more comfortable for everyday living. The result is a hanok that keeps its traditional form, but performs better as a modern home. Craftsmanship builds the shape, and insulation helps the house last comfortably through every season. This is the ceiling construction stage in a modern hanok building process. In a traditional hanok, the beauty of the roof structure is often expressed through exposed wooden members beneath the Giwa roof. But in this project, an additional ceiling framework is built to support modern interior needs. Inside the finished roof, workers measure, cut, and fasten wooden battens across the ceiling area. Each piece is installed in a steady grid, following the shape of the roof while creating a controlled space below the rafters. This new layer is not the main structure of the hanok. It is a modern interior system added after the roof frame is complete. The purpose of this ceiling construction is practical. It creates space for lighting, electrical lines, insulation finishing, and air conditioning equipment, while also preparing a clean ceiling surface for the final interior. Without this step, modern facilities would be harder to hide and harder to maintain inside a traditional wooden structure. This process shows how today's hanok can keep its traditional roofline, deep chama, and warm wooden character, while adapting to the comfort expected in a modern home. The craftsmanship remains visible, but the house also becomes ready for lighting, cooling, heating, and everyday living. This ceiling construction stage is where traditional form and modern function begin to meet inside the hanok. This is the electrical and plumbing stage of modern hanok construction. a step that never existed in traditional building, yet is essential for turning a wooden structure into a comfortable home. Inside the frame, workers route electrical lines, outlet boxes, switches, and water pipes before the walls and ceilings close. Every line must be planned with care, because a Hanok holds many exposed beams, joints, and roof-side spaces that should never be damaged or carelessly hidden. The wiring prepares the house for lighting, appliances, heating, and cooling. The plumbing serves the kitchen, bathrooms, and water supply. Hidden within the wood, these systems bring modern convenience to a traditional form. The Giwa roof, Chimoc, and timber frame preserve the beauty of tradition, while modern systems make the Hanok safe, functional, and ready for contemporary life. This is the exterior wall insulation and masonry stage in a modern Hanok construction process. Traditional Hanok buildings did not include this kind of exterior insulation system, but today it is added to improve comfort, energy efficiency, and long-term performance. On the outside of the wooden frame, workers install foil-faced insulation panels across the wall surface. These panels help reduce heat loss in winter and limit outside heat from entering during summer. Each section must be placed closely and evenly, because gaps in the insulation can weaken the overall thermal performance of the wall. After the insulation is set, masonry blocks are laid along the lower wall area. The workers apply mortar, align each block, and cut pieces where needed, so the wall line stays straight and stable. This masonry layer helps create a firm base for the exterior wall finish, while protecting the lower part of the building from daily wear and weather exposure. This process shows how a modern Hanok can keep its traditional wooden structure, deep Chimoc, and Giwa roof, while solving one of the practical weaknesses of older Hanok construction. The beauty of tradition remains visible, but behind the finished wall, modern insulation and masonry work help make the house warmer, stronger, and better suited for everyday living. This is the stage of setting the Changho frames in a Hanok construction process. In Korean architecture, Changho refers to the doors and windows that connect the interior space with light, air, and the outside view. Before the final Changho can be installed, the frame must be built with precision. Workers measure each opening, prepare long timber pieces, and assemble them into strong rectangular frames. Every cut, joint, and angle matters, because the frame will decide how smoothly the doors and windows fit later. Inside the Hanok, the workers place the frame into the prepared opening and check its height, width, and vertical alignment. A small error at this stage can affect the movement of the Changho, the ceiling of the wall, and the overall balance of the interior. The frame is not only a support for doors and windows, it also organizes the wall line, protects the edge of the opening, and creates a clean connection between the wooden structure and the finished interior. This process shows the careful transition from structure to living space. The Giwa roof and deep Chimoc give the Hanok its traditional silhouette, while the Changho frames begin to shape how people will experience light, air, and daily life inside the home. This is the floor leveling and screeding stage of modern Hanok construction, a wet floor finish that creates a flat, stable base unlike any traditional Hanok floor. With the lower walls and interior structure already in place, the floor is filled and smoothed with a cement-based layer, forming an even foundation across rooms and corridors, ready for the final finish to go down cleanly. Traditional Hanok floors were tied to ondor, using stone, clay, and layered earth to hold and carry heat. Here the aim is different, to support modern heating, flooring, and furniture with better leveling and durability. A smooth floor looks simple, but it shapes the comfort of the whole home. An uneven surface lets later finishes crack or lift, so the screed must be spread, leveled, and left to cure with care. The Giwa roof and timber frame preserve the identity of the Hanok, while beneath your feet, the modern floor makes the space cleaner, stronger, and more comfortable to live in. This is the interior wall plastering stage using Hwangto in a Hanok construction process. Hwangto is a natural yellow earth material that has long been used in Korean building culture for walls, floors, and interior finishes. Inside the wooden frame, the wall sections are already prepared between the beams and wooden columns. The craftsman applies the Hwangto plaster by hand, spreading it across the surface with a trowel and carefully filling the uneven areas. Each movement helps the wall become flatter, cleaner, and ready for the final interior finish. Unlike a simple painted wall, Hwangto creates a warm, natural texture that matches the character of a Hanok. It also works well with the wooden structure because both materials give the interior a softer and more organic feeling. The work requires patience. Around corners, window openings, and timber edges, the plaster must be applied evenly without covering the beauty of the wooden frame. The craftsman checks the thickness, smooths the surface, and follows the lines of the structure so the wall and wood meet cleanly. This process shows how a Hanok interior is shaped not only by wood and Giwa, but also by the earth-toned walls inside. With Hwangto plastering, the space becomes warmer, quieter, and more connected to natural materials, while still fitting the needs of a modern home. This is the exterior wall plastering stage using Hoebanjuk in a Hanok construction process. Hoebanjuk is a lime-based plaster used to create a clean, bright wall surface that matches the traditional character of Korean architecture. In the video, the wooden frame, Giwa roof, and deep chama are already in place. Between the warm wooden members, the craftsman applies Hoebanjuk by hand, spreading it across the exterior wall with a trowel. The surface is filled, pressed, and smoothed carefully, so the wall becomes even and refined. This work is more than a visual finish. On the outside of a Hanok, the wall must meet the wooden frame cleanly while facing sunlight, wind, rain, and seasonal changes. Hoebanjuk helps form a durable mineral surface and gives the exterior wall a calm, traditional white tone. The contrast is important. The dark wall, the rich wooden frame, and the white plaster wall together create one of the most recognizable images of a Hanok. But that beauty depends on careful handwork. Around corners, window openings, and timber edges, the plaster must be applied with precision so the lines stay clean. Through this stage, the exterior of the Hanok becomes brighter, sharper, and more complete. The structure keeps its traditional form, while the finished wall begins to show the quiet elegance of Korean craftsmanship. This is the mortar joint finishing stage in a Hanok construction process. After the exterior brick wall is built, the spaces between the bricks must be filled, shaped, and cleaned to complete the wall surface. In the video, the craftsman applies a white mortar mixture into the joints between the dark bricks. Working by hand, he presses the material into the narrow gaps, then smooths and cleans the surface, so each line becomes clear and even. This stage is important for both appearance and durability. The mortar joints help hold the brick surface together, reduce gaps where dust and moisture can enter, and protect the lower exterior wall from weather exposure. The contrast between the dark brick, white joint lines, warm wooden frame, deep chama, and Giwa roof gives the Hanok a balanced exterior look. But that clean finish depends on careful handwork. Each joint must follow the brick line neatly without staining the surrounding wood or wall surface. Through this mortar joint finishing process, the exterior wall becomes sharper, stronger, and more complete. It is a small detail, but it helps connect traditional Hanok beauty with the practical strength needed for a modern home. For centuries, the Hanok has stood where science meets nature, timber, earth, and ondor, shaped by tradition into a home that breathes.